What is up, guys? This is No Fumar coming back at you with a PC build. I haven't made a video in such a long time. I've been busy with work, riding my motorcycle around, doing other random crazy things, and I just haven't had enough time to make a video for you guys. Sorry, but the Redskins have a bye this week, so I was bored and I decided I wanted to make a video. With that being said, this build that I'm going to throw together is going to be like a $500-$600 super awesome bang for your buck, strictly high-performance gaming PC. Now, a couple things we're going to go over, like the processor, memory. A couple things I'm just going to give it to you straight and say, this is what you buy. A couple of the other things I'll give you some flexibility on what you want. Depends like what features you might want or anything. But we're going to go ahead and kick things off with the processor, which we are going to be using an Intel Pentium G3258 dual-core processor, which is really an awesome bang for your buck CPU. It has this awesome overclockable ability. Even though it is a Pentium, it's not an i5 or an i7 that has that K overclocking ability. But for gaming, for most gaming, the dual cores is really all you need. Most games, unlike some things like Battlefield 4 or Crisis or something, don't really utilize more than 2 cores. So what you really want to do is find the best dual-core processor bang for your buck in this situation. And for us, that's the Pentium 3258. You look at the benchmarks that people get, and it's honestly crazy. You can pair this $70 CPU with this non-overclockable motherboard. We'll get to that in a second. But this non-overclockable motherboard, and you're pulling something with like a 780 Ti or the new 970 or 980, and you're getting awesome frame rates. But anyway, so with that motherboard, we're not going to use a CPU cooler because the overclocking we're going to be doing is mild, probably only 4.3, 4.4 gigahertz, and you can get away with the stock cooler. But if you want, for like 20 bucks, you can throw in like an Evo H212 or 220 or something, a really good stock air cooler. But that 212 will get you even better performance air cooling. The motherboard we're going to be using is an ASRock H97M Pro 4. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just accept the fact that we kind of know what we're talking about. Me and the Build a PC community kind of talk about these things. But basically, for the Pentium, you don't necessarily need a Z board to overclock. This is a Haswell refresh CPU, so it's better if you can get something like a 97 as opposed to an 81 or 87. So if you want to just, for simplicity's sake, and you don't want to go through any confusing BIOS updates or, gamble whether or not the BIOS it ships with is going to work with your CPU, spend the extra $8 or $9 and just go ahead and get the H97. It'll really work well for you. It's got onboard 3.0 headers for the case. Up to 32 gigs of RAM, has PCI 3.0, which is going to go great with our graphics card, and tons of SATA ports, so should be fine, no big deal. Now, when it comes to the memory, right now in the PC part picker list I'm basically choosing the cheapest 8GB pack, 2 sticks of 4GB set, CAS latency 9, and DDR3 1600 or 1866. So it's basically just finding all the memory that's out there, and then sorting it by lowest price and giving it to me. And right now it's G.Skill Aries 8GB, so that's only 60 bucks. Basically, when it comes to memory, as long as it's like 4 or 5 star rating, you're gonna be fine. Memory is memory. You don't need a super awesome heatsink. If you want color coordination, go for it. That's all you, but I'm just basically giving you like the cheapest of the cheapest for right now. As far as storage goes, we're going to be using a Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB hard drive and then a Crucial MX100 128GB solid state drive. These two in tandem will work really, really well with each other. The solid state drive, you can definitely put your OS on. It'll give you really awesome boot speeds, as well as put some of your favorite programs on it, like if you do video editing, put like Sony Vegas or Adobe Photoshop or, I don't know, TurboTax on it, and it will run really, really quickly. And it's just those extra little performance gains that you get out of an SSD. Actually, they're not even little. They're like really big performance gains, but they're really awesome. I have one on my laptop, and it runs things really quickly. Boot times are like less than 10 seconds, and that's on a laptop. but it works really well. The 1 terabyte of space, people always argue, well, 500 gigabytes or 1 terabyte. Well, 1 terabyte is only like $5 or $6 extra than 500 gigabytes, and you can't go wrong. Just do it. Trust me, we're smart. We try to be. Look at my hair. I'm crazy. But anyway, now the video card, which is the more. This is the more kind of thing where, depending on when you watch this video, you may get a better deal somewhere else. But the general video cards you want to look for at the price point that we're talking, right around $550 to $600, is either a 280 or a 280X. That's R9 280 or R9 280X. These graphics cards, just really solid bang for your buck. Right now, with the new release of the 970 and the 980, those are NVIDIA cards. This is an AMD card. But with the release of those cards, it's driving the competition for other cards down. Well, technically, more people want the 970s and 80s, so in order to try and reach out to more markets, they're lowering their prices a little bit. Supply and demand curves, all that stuff. We don't need to go into economics. But anyway, so the 280 comes with 3 gigs of onboard memory and some benchmarks for you. It can run Battlefield Ultra settings at like pretty high frame rates. Again, though, Battlefield 4 is one of those funny, utilizes sometimes more cores than other, but people have really good experiences with the 280. If you want to spend like an extra $50, I suggest going for a 280X. Check out eBay or other stores. Look for something like a 290 or a GTX 780 or a 770. Really anywhere in that 280, 280X. For AMD, and then 770, 780 for NVIDIA. For the most part, they're probably going to perform about the same. 280 and 770 are probably around the same ballpark. 280X and like a 780, probably the 290 and the 780. But anyway, basically just look for those 4 numbers, 280, 280X, 770, and 780. Find the one that's cheapest. Right now you can get a 280 for only like $165. The prices are really coming down, so it's really an awesome time to build a budget gaming PC. And if you want to spend, if you're getting up into that, like $250, $300 range, see if you can bump yourself up an extra $30 or $40 and jump for one of those 970s. They're amazing performance for the price that you pay. So I definitely recommend if you want to jump up. With this processor, people have been posting benchmarks back and forth, and it's really amazing that the processor doesn't necessarily bottleneck you as much as one would think when it comes to pairing a 3258 with a 970. Again, only really gaming stuff, though. Once you get into like 50,000 tabs of Chrome open and Adobe Photoshop and you're running a video, you're going to have a bad time. I'm sorry, but you probably will. But anyway, moving on from the video card. So again, just read some articles. It's going to change as time goes on, but for now, I would say the 280 at $165. That's going to get us the price point we want. But anyway, for the case, I, for one, really enjoy Cougar cases. I think they look really cool. So we're going to be using a Cougar Spike MicroATX mini tower case. And it's just an awesome case. I think it looks really cool. It's got the USB 3.0 front headers and lots of space for cable management, and I just think they're really cool, and they're relatively inexpensive. A lot of people like to splurge on the case because it's what you look at. I personally am not one who likes to look at the computer. I just like to have it sit down on the floor. I don't really care about looking at it. I don't care if there's a window in it. But again, if you want to look at some like NCIX cases or like Define R4 or something or other, just look for cases, browse on PC Part Picker, and just start looking for cool cases in the price point that you're looking at. Power supply, I just basically threw in this another one of those filters like I did for memory, and I did anything between 430 and 70 watts, and full or semi-modular with an 80 plus bronze efficiency rating, which is something you really want. And basically I just have it sort by lowest price, and right now we're looking at a Corsair CX500 80 plus bronze certified semi-modular CPU or power supply. Corsair makes some really good power supplies, really good budget power supplies. They do a really good job. Pretty much the brands to look for are something like Corsair. Now I can't remember them, but Corsair is pretty good. Let me just like click on this form filter and I'll give you like. So Corsair is pretty good. Seasonic is pretty good. I guess Cougar makes a power supply. I had no idea. But basically, you want to find a power supply that has good ratings, has that 80 plus bronze efficiency, and you should be fine. The semi-modular is good because you only have to plug in whatever cables you want, and that makes it really awesome. And I just threw in an optical drive. It's some Samsung DVD writer. It's like 15 bucks. I know everybody is like, just do the booting off a USB stick and don't worry about the optical drive, but I like having an optical drive. Sometimes if I want to burn a DVD or copy something, or I have an old game that I want to play, you know, for 15 bucks later down the road, it's like, whatever, 15 bucks. But anyway, that's this build. You should expect to get really awesome gaming performance out of it with that 280 and the overclockable Pentium 3258. I'm going to link the PC part picker list in the description for you guys to check out. You can tweak it if you want. But right now, this comes to 560 bucks in my cart. And for 560 bucks, you really can't beat that performance. So I really recommend this build. I know my friend built a build very similar to this, and he's really enjoying it, really loving it. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Like if you did, dislike it if you didn't, share it with friends, whoever wants to enjoy it, whatever. But you might be seeing more videos out of me. I have no idea. But anyway, this is No Fumar, signing off.